girls. They get periods, and that's gross. What? I don't get those. I don't bleed. I don't do that. The only time I bleed is when I fight in battles because I'm a man, and I bleed manliness. Turning Red is a movie for young girls, and that's stupid and cringe. You see, I related to Luca because growing up, I was an Italian fish boy. I would swim around and be all Italian. Now, that's a relatable story. Now, that's a good story. You know what's not a good story? A girl becoming a red panda. That's dumb. If she was a fish, then I'd like it. It's far more relatable for a movie to be about young boys. Girls just simply aren't relatable. I can't relate to girls. I mean, come on. Now, a movie about talking cars, that's relatable to me. A movie about talking toys, that's relatable. A movie about fish that talk, oh yeah, these are all relatable to me. But this? Women? Girls? Ugh. Turning Red is good. I like it. It's sweet and cute and fun. It's not like the greatest thing Pixar has ever put out, but I do think it's a suitable addition to their catalog of greatness. I am happy that the last 3 Pixar movies have been original new stories. They've been fresh and new, bringing in new characters to love and enjoy. It feels like Pixar is back on a hot streak of being that powerhouse that they used to be. Too bad Lightyear needs to be connected to the Toy Story brand to ensure more success instead of just being confident in itself. But you know, that's another conversation. When the trailer for Turning Red dropped, it received an ungodly amount of hate. People calling it cringe, people calling it stupid, simply just screenshots of the young girls hanging out with their 2000s outfits had people like, ugh, what has Pixar become? Take me back to the old days when it was good. And I'm just like, what? What's wrong with this? Before this movie even released, people put it down massively for just seeing young girls in their cringy ways. And instantly I thought to myself, wow, we really just can't attempt anything new without receiving toxic amounts of hate, huh? Like, this looked cute. It looked fun. It's showing some actual diversity in the Pixar lineup. A coming of age story written and directed by an Asian woman seemingly about her own life. Except for the fact of turning into an actual panda, of course. But that's dope. That's dope to actually see a new story represented with a massive company. That's really cool to see. But before the movie even released, people put it down, man, for all of the wrong reasons. Also, people getting mad that it's set in the early 2000s and nostalgic for 2000s kind of stuff? What? Why can't people be nostalgic for the early 2000s? That was 20 years ago, man. It was a distinct era, even if you don't realize it was. So it 100% can be nostalgic for many, especially for the teenagers that grew up during that time. Now, the movie is out, and it's good. It's not like amazing or mind-blowing or anything, but it's very sweet. I think it's cool as hell to see a story about young girls dealing with being young girls. There are many people that weirdly are against that with this kind of movie. There are countless reviews I'm seeing that saying they can't relate to this movie because it's a young girl and a metaphor about puberty and periods. And I'm like, what? What? You don't need to go through a character's story to actually relate to them or feel for them or be connected to a story. That is such a weird take that I'm only seeing with Turning Red. I'm not seeing any actual reviews talk about how good the story is told or how good the actual movie is, just that they can't relate to the young girl's story. That's so weird. The entire conversation around this movie is just so odd. Soul brought us adult themes about dealing with death and purpose, but Turning Red seemingly brought us something more terrifying. Periods. And somehow that's actually freaking people out. I think the story is told well, and it does a very good job at showcasing a nice, cute story that people growing up can relate to a lot. I think the animation is very cute, but a lot of people are being put off by the art style being overly cute, which I think is so stupid. The art style fits really well for the story and the setting. It's overly colorful and cute like pop music of the time, which constantly comes into play throughout the movie in its style and tone and everything. The main group of kids really love this early 2000s boy band, which is really funny to see, but I know 100% that there are going to be actual people finding that weird and cringe. And I just want to say to those kinds of people, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you, man? I'm a white male. I'm a cis white male, and even I can recognize the fact that there are millions of different stories to tell in the world, and this is just one of them. I know for a fact that there will be countless girls growing up to this movie and loving it and relating to it and everything. I did not grow up like this, but I know it's pretty accurately told. To leave a movie's credibility to only its relatability is stupid and dumb. To judge a movie simply on if you can relate to it is stupid. Sure, relating to a movie can boost how much you like a movie, but you're really gonna put the movie down because you aren't a young girl going through this kind of thing? That's kind of stupid, man. If there's anything to actually criticize for the movie, it would be the actual turning red part. The part where she becomes a red panda. It's kind of the weakest part of the movie. The initial turn feels very anticlimactic, and all of it leads to an unnecessary big panda fight battle at the end that doesn't really feel earned. The strengths of this movie are the coming of age aspects, the friendships of the kids, and the relationship between the mom and the daughter. There's also a relationship between the grandma and the mom that isn't really used well. She is like this driving emotional weight for the mother that passes on to the daughter, but we never really learn anything about the actual grandma. The grandma's kind of just not in the movie for being such a heavy reason for a lot of the story. It would have been a much stronger movie with just one scene with the grandma doing literally anything in this movie. She does nothing, but yes, she matters so much. But that's really all the negatives I have about the movie. The soundtrack is fantastic, the animation is poppy, fluid, and cute, and the story is a sweet coming of age movie told really well in that aspect. I think a lot of the directing here is also really good. The style constantly changes and it can be very fun. This is the director's first feature-length animated movie, and I'm very excited to see what they make next. Bao was a really great short film, and this really shows that they're just getting started making full-length movies with this kind of style. So I'm very excited to see whatever they make next. A lot of the comedy and the jokes are really funny. I think when all the friends are together, it leads to a lot of very funny moments. I think the mom's over-obsessiveness is a great use for a lot of jokes throughout the movie, and it just gets better and better. And honestly, the main character of Mei is really good. I think her arc throughout the movie is very nice, very simple and sweet. I think it's very realistic, except for the red panda, obviously, but it is written really well, and I like it a lot. It's nice to see representations of more cultures in Disney. The worst part is that it's limited to Disney+. The last 3 Pixar movies have been limited to Disney+, and while it made sense for Luca last year, it doesn't seem necessary to limit these movies anymore to a streaming service. The benefit of it being on Disney+ means that hopefully more people will watch it sooner than later. But it still irks me that seeing these more diverse stories on the big screen still keeps getting hindered by stuff like this. Overall, Turning Red is a good movie. I think it's a needed and necessary story that many people will relate to, and that will boost the movie a lot. And even if you can't personally relate to it, it's still a nice story. It's a good story about puberty and change, and I like it.